Warner Brothers Discovery to reinstate pipeline programs for writers and directors. Well, that sounds harmless enough, I suppose. As does many things that will eventually end up killing your ass, as the Pipelines program is a bit of a misleading title in this day and age anyways. Originally, the idea was for aspiring writers and directors to get a job at Warner Brothers and, well, Discovery later on through the merger, and thus get an into the industry, a soft entrance. A very good idea to get new talent and essentially to scout out promising individuals. But like so many good ideas, it was subverted round about the 2010s and 12s and 14s by, well, good old-fashioned diversity initiatives. We covered an article not that long ago about the reactions from a bunch of the people let go from the initiative who complained that the white people were getting rid of all of the diversity hires. Oh no. How dare they? Not the diversity hires, anything but them. And at the time, I applauded it as a wonderful move. One of several signs now, recently, of major corporations beginning to move away from the woke agenda because, well, it simply just doesn't sell. And with harsher and harsher economic times indubitably on the horizon, companies have got to care about the bottom line again, which is a nice change, frankly. And yet, here we have a bit of reversal, or do we? Well, it's a little bit of an interesting situation. Now, this was covered in the mainstream media for a while, and when the announcement was made public, well, the Directors Guild of America made a statement that they would fight Warner Brothers on dismantling the Directors Workshop program. So the Directors Guild of America is a union. A union, right. So we already pretty much know what their ideals are, don't we? And they were going to fight this on the basis of it apparently violating an existing agreement. Let's see, I believe it was mentioned... there we go, yes. Section 15203 of its 2004, raises eyebrow, Basic Agreements, which reads, on or before July the 1st, 2014, each of the major television studios, blah, 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 the major will establish and maintain a television director development programs designed to expand opportunities for directors in episodic television. Alright, so far so good. Like I said earlier, that's a good idea, right? Except then comes the 2014 part. Director development program designed to expand... cover that, with an emphasis on increasing diversity. Now you understand why so many of the diversity hires were complaining when the thing was being shut down. It's because that it had been, as so many other things, utterly and completely corrupted. And they've gone one step further now. Instead of simply calling it the Pipelines program, they have specifically called it the DAY Team, which stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, I believe, or something similar, yeah. And which was recently announced its new leadership structure under Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer Asif Sadiq. Equity... oh god, inclusion officers. Sieg Heil mein Kameraden, I suppose, but oh well. So now it seems to have taken on an overt diversity and wokeist agenda idea, and well, seeing as it was instituted by this organization, that's hardly a surprise. If anything, this is simply calling a spade, really. The Writers Guild did also make a response to this, saying that they would keep a close eye on whether or not the Warner Brothers Discovery was really going to stick to their promises, as again, the Directors Guild has a stated diversity and inclusion part on their very website. Lovely, lovely. But this may not be quite as black pill as it originally sounds. See, one of the things with big corporations is it is often surprisingly difficult to just goddamn fire people. particularly when you need to fire a lot of people of, shall we say, diverse backgrounds that you have ended up hiring because of your predecessor's ridiculous initiatives. Getting rid of these guys could be rather difficult and potentially politically disastrous. Again, as we saw here. So what do you do instead? Well, one way of doing it would be to gather them all up and shuffle them off to a side corner office somewhere under a particularly obnoxious boss who is also a part of the clique, and then just slowly drain resources from that branch over the years, slowly but surely. Perhaps add it with a little bit of an uncomfortable work environment. It just so happens that the new offices are, the air conditioned don't work, they're not really sound isolated, they're very small, and there happens to be some heavy construction work going on across the streets. Stuff like that. Now, we do not know that this is what's happening for certain, nor is there really any overt indication of it in the statement, and you wouldn't expect there to be, and wouldn't want to tell the enemy the plan, otherwise the Union is likely to get up in arms again. But I will point out that Warner Brothers have been making even more moves recently in getting rid of the problem children. So here we have another, goddammit. Excuse me, as I try to kill the gnat in my room. I cannot wait for winter. A few degrees minus is all I ask for. So, Cartoon Network marketing execs latest to go in Warner Bros. Discovery layoffs. So here we have two smiling womenfolk who are being let go after many years of valuable service. Cartoon Network. Interesting. Two key executives, Marketing Chief Tricia Melton and Senior VP Marketing and Partnership at Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, Jill King, are leaving the newly merged company at year's end. Interesting. What could that indicate? What has Cartoon Network been doing as of late? I wonder, what has Cartoon Network been doing as of late? Except crashing and burning, well, yes. There was a whole thing where they were trying to indoctrinate children into, quote-unquote, anti-racism. Which is a wonderful little cover word for racism is fine, so long as you're doing it against, the whites, as the previous diversity initiative hires mentioned. Rightio then, well, that seems rather interesting. Would you think that perhaps the VP of Marketing and Partnerships and the, Chief Tricia Melton here? Executives Marketing Chief? Do you think they might have something to do with this? I think so. In fact, I am more certain of it. But unlike the other diversity hires, these two ladies, unfortunately, are the incorrect skin color, so they can't go running to the unions quite as easily. Yeah, I think I am not... See, when it comes to this kind of inter-office politics, it is very difficult to make any kind of real educated guess from the outside. But seeing as we have disgruntled employees, the disgruntled diversity hires, getting kicked out of their offices and then complaining that it was because they were diversity hires and that the old mean white men were returning to power to apparently create programming for Middle America, well... you kinda can see the, you can see the writing on the wall, you really can. The unions is making a fuss, well, okay, fine, we won't fire them. But there is a particularly uncomfortable corner office available. Again, difficult to say, but I am an inherently optimistic individual. And again, as I've mentioned so many times, it takes years for these companies to actually properly change course, so I wouldn't give up on Warner Brothers Discovery just yet.